Everyone, in this quick tutorial, I will show you how to display multiple flow paths in Primavera P6. This is a feature that helps you identify various paths or various chain of activities that drive the projected completion date of the project. It is said that those paths control the project end date, so we want to identify what those paths are. So if you simply come to the filter and you filter for longest path activities, you will see that only one single path is shown to you, right? And you see that path and just one single path, right? It starts from the starting point of the project and then goes to the end. And we can trace those activities. If you want to just see in one view the whole path or the chain of activities, you can just simply remove the grouping. And you can see the whole path, right? So that's the single longest path of the project. But what we're looking for in this case is actually different, right? We want to identify the multiple flow path. So let me change that to WBS, and I hide those categories that are empty. So this was the view that we had previously. So let's take a look and see how we can show the multiple flow paths this time. So to be able to do that, you can come to Tools and click on Schedule, or simply click F9 on your keyboard. Network, but before doing that, we need to change some of the options. So you come to the options under the Advanced tab, you select Calculate Multiple Flow Path, right? So you need to tell Primavera calculate multiple path using either total float or free float. And as you know, these are two main types of floats in Primavera P6 or in schedules in general. Total float represents the amount of time that activity can be delayed without affecting the end date of the project, right? So it's typically, that's typically the option that we use in this particular case. So you choose total float. You also need to identify what is the activity that succeeds those flow path, right? So that's why it says display multiple flow path ending with what activity. So you just need to pick and choose what activity is that. So what you need to do, you need to select the activity that is being followed by those flow paths. Typically the end date of the project or the end milestone of the project is the one that we are after, right? So we just click on this selection button. And by doing that, you can pick and choose the activity that you're looking for. So bear with me for a second. It may take a few seconds before it shows up. Yes, and it showed up. And I know that, for example, in this particular schedule that I'm looking at, it is called Building Edition Complete. So that's the end date of the project or the end activity. So I pick that. And I need to specify the number of paths, right? Because we are looking to show multiple flow paths, it is 2 or more. So in this case, let's choose 2 for now. And then we close this window. Don't click on default because those settings will be the default option going forward. But instead of clicking on default, you just click close. And in here, we need to reschedule or recalculate the network. So we click on schedule. You may not realize what happened because visually your screen might be the same, but there's another step that you need to take. So you come to here and you change the grouping from WBS to flow path, right? So that's what we're looking for. And also there's another option. You need to also remove the filter, because right now it's filtered by longest path. You just change the filter to all activities. And after doing that, you see that, there are, in this case, two paths that are shown to us, right? That's the primary path, or the primary critical path. And this is the secondary path, right? So by secondary means that, what we're looking for is that, it is true that these activities are driving the end date of the project, which is the building addition complete, right? But what else is driving that after this primary set of activities? And that's the second set that we're looking at, right? So essentially, this January 5, 2027 is being driven by the punch list, which is also on January 5. And then we can go backward and say, okay, so this date is being driven by what? By finish complete. And step by step, we can go backward, right? And it takes us through the end through the entire path, going up to this section, right? So that's the primary path. Also, in this particular case, we identified this secondary path because essentially we built path. So this is the secondary path. So as you see here, this particular activity actually ends on January 4, 2027. And that's why it was not as critical as those categories, those activities that we had. Essentially the last activity in that set of activities actually was ending on January 5. But on the secondary path, the end activity finishes on January 4. And that's why this set is identified to be there. So essentially, you can use the same approach if you're interested to even identify the tertiary path or more flow path. You can do that. You can take the similar set of steps and identify those activities. Because we chose just two flow paths, the rest of the activities are categorized under no flow path. So in this particular case, we don't need to take a look at the details of those because we just chose to display only two flow paths. But if you choose to have, for example, three flow paths, you will have category 1, 2, 3, and then the last category, which will be no flow paths.